like I've said this to you and the Luxiem boys before, and I've said this on my own channel before, but I think only on membership streams, is that because Luxiem did so well, I feel like the pressure was off for Noctyx. Because I had even said during the interview process, it was just straight up like, I'm never going to have a big fan base, but I want to have a fan base that are like devoted. I want to be devoted to my fans and give them what they want, and like I'm going to be into specific interests, and I'm not going to hide the weird specific interests that I'm into. It's going to scare away the masses, but the people that do show up are going to be people that like the kind of things that I like, and because of that, we're all going to feel quite closely knit because of that. And because of that, I was able to see you guys blowing up and just be like, oh, sweet, the pressure's off. They're going to be like massive. I'm going to fade into the shadows of obscurity. It's going to be fucking great. So yeah, at first it was like a scare thing where it was like, oh no, that's too much pressure. And then I was just like, no, fuck that. That's a good thing. I never wanted to get into this to be like massive. I wanted to get into this to just be able to share my interests and have a good time.
It's so interesting because I think that everyone who joins NIJISANJI does so with a very different idea of how they want to promote themselves as opposed to what they wind up doing after a little while. I mean, you know, like when I first joined, it was like, I want to do like ARGs and lore every day and all of this kind of stuff. And then suddenly, you know, I'm in a really different position. And I think also, you know, you and I have a similar sort of thing where one of my favorite things to do is to kind of introduce my audience to things they would never have normally seen. You know, some of my more niche interests, like sort of art films, obscure games, memes, humor, everything like that, TV shows. But then also, I think being a part of Luxiem adds like a little bit of extra pressure. And maybe I adapted to that well, maybe I didn't, you know, by sort of like trying to adapt to that idea of what gets good viewership, what doesn't. And I really admire the way that you sort of went into this with a vision and just sort of did exactly what you wanted to do. You were like, I am going to share my interests, I'm going to play my favorite games, and I am going to write a story. And that's all, you know. And I really admire how like you just have this really devoted fan base who love you for having done that. And I think that without NIJISANJI, it's so difficult to grow something like that, where all you are is yourself, but people love you for being yourself. Like, especially because Luxiem were the first boys to join a group of all girls, and it was like, surely I can't
imagine how terrifying that was for
it was
the
a
girls
little scary, you know, because I think that what they were experiencing as well is the fact that, like, yeah, we've had like this unity of being all girls, and then having like 5 lads join, especially Luxiem, who are like the boys. It's interesting how Noctyx have like that whole found family vibe, you know, and you guys are like very emotionally connected to one another, and you have like this really wonderful dynamic and stuff. Whereas Luxiem are just like a bunch of young blokes who are just like, where are all the fires in this town? What the fuck is going on, mate? You know, and we just sort of
really lightning in a bottle kind of thing, because you guys are so different but work together so well with your different comedy styles.
It's weird. I think what sums it up the best is that, to me, I think Luxiem's personality was cemented when we had our first Minecraft collab, where it was 1 week after debut. The first week we had our Prop Night 1, which was a big part of it, but then in the second week we had our Minecraft collab, where we had me making all of my disgusting, dirty jokes, Mr. being just loud and unhinged, Ike being like, I hate it here, Luca pranking everyone, and Shu just calmly farming in the corner, just not minding any of it happening. That entire collab just told everyone, this is Luxiem, these are our personalities, get used to it. And ever since then, it's just felt so easy to be ourselves, you know.
You 5 just work together so well as a group. Whereas I feel like with Noctyx, we don't necessarily entertain so well as a group. We have moments that are fucking hilarious, but we're more just like 5 guys who look after each other, like in the back end. Like we still have our individual chat where we're just constantly just talking to each other, talking about like the harder parts of streaming, how many things we have going on at once, and like looking after each other's mental health and being just really close, separated from other people sometimes. Where I feel like we are definitely more introverted than you guys, because I always see you guys in like the hangout chats and everything as well, and it's always like, yeah, I just post this on the Noctis group instead. Be like, hey, check this. So yeah, we love that kind of shit in our own way, where we're just like, it's better to like keep this shit like offline, keep this to ourselves. Whereas you guys are very much like boisterous. extroverted kind of thing, full of
yeah.
energy. When Noctyx first joined, I feel like we actually brought more people together because we were like all introverted in our own ways. Like I feel like there were little groups that started to form there where we started to bring people who were introverted in their own ways in NIJISANJI into like the main group with each other and get them to start to hang out with more people. And then because of that, like we became a big group with like the 5 waves. And now that there's a 6th wave, it's just like there's so many people, it's hard to keep everyone together. And so like things have started to get a bit more separated again as well. I don't know. It's interesting to see what's going to happen as things just get bigger and bigger. How hard it is to like keep up with everyone. Like there are probably so many things that I just never see going on. Oh, we're at the table now.
We got some takoyaki for you, buddy, and I'm just here sipping my milk.